It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
So, folks, what's happening in the city of Hazleton City Council? There's a lot of things happening. You're reading it in the Standard Speaker. You're hearing it on Local News 13 about some of the resolutions, about the changes. Really, a city council trying to put a gag order on people? Are they running it themselves? What's going on at city council? When we had Booty Beltrami and Dr. Greco on the show, they talked about their concerned citizens. Today, I'm very happy to have on the show Council President Jim Perry and, of course, an old-timer, Jack Mundie, who's been on, and I don't mean old, but he's been on the council for 10 years. First of all, I appreciate the fact that the both of you came on the show. I appreciate that very much. Jack, how you doing?
Good, Sam. Glad to be here.
How's Dad?
He's very good.
Is he keeping in line?
He's keeping busy.
He's keeping busy. Jim, how's everything at the school?
Great. Doing well.
And you're off now for the summer?
Yeah, always keep them busy, though. I'll work with recreation and help out with the kids, so I'll do some things. Always keep them busy.
You know, I admire the teachers today, really. It's a whole different ball game than when I was teaching back in, early 70s. Of course, 70s. Of course, I was only 16 at the time, Jack, when I was teaching. No, it's a challenge.
It is a challenge.
It's a whole different ball game, and I think the teachers are worth their weight in gold. Really, they work hard, and I mean that sincerely. I've always said that the aides, everyone who works in the administration, it's not
more
easy.
requirements than ever.
City Council, we've been hearing a lot of things. Some things that are good, some things that are bad. Jack, you've been vocal on a number of issues. Okay, you've been there for 10 years.
Yes.
Just for the citizens' purposes, what do you consider a councilman to be, Jack?
A watchdog, to ask questions, to try and keep an eye on the city's finances, to make sure that money isn't wasted or misspent. At the last council meeting, I asked the mayor about some expenditures on the security savings building, which we don't own. I said, why are you spending money on a building we don't own, money we don't have? $2,000 he spent, and the only answer I can get was he doesn't know and he didn't care. That was his response to me. That's why I asked.
We're gonna get to those specific questions, okay? As to what are some of the rules and the resolutions. Let's talk about the resolutions that that sort of kicked off a lot of people saying, all of a sudden now, I remember seeing Jack up at his office, and he said, look, we just came in. They don't want me to talk. They don't want me to do this. They don't want me to do this.
Well, the original resolution, which we should get that straightened out, which I have, and you have it too.
Right, yeah.
The original resolution said that people who come up to the podium cannot ask questions, and council people cannot ask questions after the meeting or ask for. That was the original resolution, which I'm happy to say has changed. But originally it was a gag order, which you said it wasn't.
Yeah.
But you didn't. Did you have the old ordinance?
You had given me the old ordinance.
This is the original. This is on the agenda.
Yeah. I have the original, but
this is on the agenda now.
Okay. All right. Now let me ask you
so we could vote on this.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let's go back to what he just said, because what I heard and what I saw, okay, did not see that that no one could speak.
No questions from the audience will be entertained or answered by council, the administration, or any other official or employee of the city of Hazleton. Council members may not question or request information from other council people, the administration, the city solicitor, or any officials or employees of the city of Hazleton.
Okay. Now, Jim,
sure,
you're part of that.
Sam, I wish I could say I should be here. We should be here talking about how we can help the city. That's my goal. How we can move the city forward with the cameras, fight crime. Those are the important issues. Here we're talking about rules of which we should be following. Rules that are resolutions. They're not etched in stone. But here we're talking, again, like I said, about rules because of behavior, because of things that are going on in council meetings. Never was their intent to do that. But we should be talking about the important things. How are we moving the city forward? How can we find ways to save money? We pass a budget. That's all we can do. We're a legislative branch. We don't enforce anything. We pass the budget. So we have to make sure, as Jack says, make sure everything's paid. But there are ways to do that. At a meeting, sometimes it's almost the point of bringing people up and embarrassing them. That's where we are at. You know, these are rules that Jack said
Let's
in
go
2000.
back to is that actually, to me, is that a gag order?
No, there was never intent with a gag. As a matter of fact, I sat with Lisa Shima. Her and I, she's been there a long time, and she and I said, how can we control? The meetings were getting out of control. There was a lot of sniping, a lot of individual attacks on people. And again, these the administration and the department heads are there for a courtesy. They don't have to be there. We shouldn't have to call them up and embarrass them. When you pull out a particular issue, they don't have that in front of them. They don't know that unless you tell them. If you pull out a bill, then, I mean, you can call the mayor anytime and ask that, or Mary Ellen. So we didn't want, it was getting out of control. We had meetings that were 3 hours. And I know Jack knows they haven't been that way.
I don't mind the meetings being that long. We're councilmen. I don't think the meetings are that long. We only meet in the summer once a long, so it's an extra hour a meeting. That's why we're there. We're there to solve the problems that people have. When people come up to ask questions that they didn't get satisfaction from maybe the health department or the code, they come up and ask us for help. And passing this resolution, well, I agree this is a waste of time, but I didn't change the rules. Somebody changed the rules. I did not.
All right, but
I don't think we should be even doing this. I don't think we even should be changing the rules.
Jim, your input on that.
Well, again, these were back in 2004. We just added a few rules, and I was willing to change anything that we have. As a matter of fact, the new amendments to the new one. And again, that's what we should be doing. We have three, the resolution, an ordinance takes 3 readings. So
Yeah,
we have chance to change things.
Our resolution that Jeannie and I put together is for open government. We should be more open. Look what's happening in Luzerne County, Sam. Do you see what's happening?
Yes.
The reason why that's happened is no one was able to ask questions. They were hiding information. That's what happened in Luzerne County. We should be more open. Everything should be open. We should have our minutes on our website, both written and audio, like they have at Luzerne County. We should be more.
It takes people. We don't have the resources.
It costs nothing. I talked to the guy from Precision. It would cost nothing. All Lisa has to do is email them over there, and they're on. They should be on there.
Okay, let me get back to.
Don't you think?
Okay, let me go back to open. What it seems to, what you're saying to me, okay, or what I'm interpreting is that you're saying that they're not transparent. Okay, this is what you're saying, Jack. Okay,
I'm saying
they're not what?
They're not transparent. Although you're saying that they're not giving you the information that they
Well,
need.
they're making it harder for me. The only guy, as far as my getting information from the council's clerk, which that's her job, is to get information. And the times where he's saying there was 1,000 pages, I bought that paper. I bought a case of paper and said use it. All she did was press a button. And I'm saving the city money. I tried to save the city money by using my paper.
Okay,
and he said it was a waste of time. I tried to get I'm getting the budgets from Allentown, from Lancaster, to compare them with ours, and so ours are aligned, especially with our audits. Our budget and our audits don't line up. It's been admitted at council meetings that $500,000 is not in the budget, both income and expenses. Mary Ellen nets it out, which,
So,
she thinks it's okay. I disagree with it.
Okay. Let's get back to, you said a lot of things, and you said a lot of things, okay. And the way it sounds, okay, what you're saying is, it sounds like as if there's a lot of wrong things being done, okay.
Well, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying we need an open flow of information, and that's what we should be moving towards.
Going back to the resolution right now, okay, and when I said, for what I saw here, I did not see any gag order. I did not see. Okay,
the new one is a little restrictive.
The original one,
limit your questions, which that's like, that's
So,
a total, backpedaling from the original information. But still, I don't even think we should change it at all. I don't think we should make any changes.
Okay, well, I'm sure that there's reasons why things are done, and I don't know. I'm just going to ask Jim. Folks, I'm talking to Jim Perry and Jack Mundie. Okay, I appreciate them coming on the show. We come back. Let's talk about the resolutions and some of the things that can be resolved. Because sometimes, just like the headlines said here in the Standing Speaker, Groom plans to protest City Council rule change. Dr. Greco said it wasn't meant to be to come down and protest anything. But when you're being told that you cannot say some things, and you're being told that we don't have the answers for you, I think that's where some of the concerns are. We come back. Let's Jim Perry, who is the council president, discuss this. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us, folks. I'm Sam Lesante. You're watching The Sam Lesante Show. Welcome once again to all our viewers, new viewers in Schuylkill County. We appreciate the comments. 24/7, SSPTV.com, 1.75 million impressions last month. Thank you so much for making our website one of the leaders in northeastern Pennsylvania. But, folks, Every morning I drink Mona V. This is the stuff I take 2 shots every day. It's fantastic stuff, folks. You got to find out about it. Give my buddy Dan Vasal a call. Phone number's on the screen. Give him a call. Take 2 shots every day. That's what Jack Mundie should take every day to calm him down a little bit. And Tom Hicken Mountain Spring Water, the official water of Samson Productions and SSP TV, the water that Starbucks uses. If they don't have this water where you buy it, ask for it. Tom Hicken Mountain Spring Water. JoJo's carries this on the Beltway. Jim Perry's my guest. Jack Mundie's my guest. Jack's been on the council for 10 years. Jim Perry is president of the council. Jim, Jack mentioned a number of things, and when you listen to Jack, he's very convincing, and he has been around for 10 years, and I think Jack brings a lot to the table. However, some of the things he's stating to me would be what you guys are trying to gag them. You're trying to, there's things that you're holding. Yeah. So I want your side of the story here.
Okay, well, very basically is we're not hiding anything. There have been more requests now since January than ever before, from Mary Ellen, from Lisa, and everything's out in the open. We have limited resources, and there's nothing hidden at all. The amount of people that come and actually speak that are actual citizens, I know we have the same people come. We have the same people. It is minimal. I can probably count on one hand the number of people who actually come with a question. Or we can find those out ahead of time. If somebody has asked me many times about things, I've gone to them. But Jack should be setting the example. He's been here the longest. He's never behaved this way. I mean, he knows that. I mean, there has been never, as if there's something we're hiding, and there's nothing that's hidden. We pass a budget, there's the X amount of money. I mean, it's a very obvious thing, and Pell will tell us, please, the Pennsylvania Economic League, that we are in it like any other city. We have limited revenue coming in, expenses are exceeding the revenue, and it's not unlike anything else. So I don't think there's anything hidden at all. And the questions that are asked could be asked anytime during the week. And sometimes these people are not prepared for it.
Well, so what I'm going back to when I was when I was the chairman of the board and we had 15 board members. We had to have some control because you always have some people who are upset because they're not in the majority or minority. First of all, I even hate those 2 words, majority and minority. Sure. I don't think there should be that. I think when an issue comes on the table, you should vote what do you think is right or wrong. So if Jim votes for it and someone wants to vote against it, that's fine. So I think council should be that way. So you're saying to me, okay, and to the public, that city council in no way, okay, is hindering or holding back anyone or any information. Now, if I require information, if I'm a councilman, I think, Jack, okay, what I would have done with Jim, if I was a city councilman, if I'm requiring information, I would certainly notify them before that and say, look, I need to find all this information for whatever. But, however, when you find that information, I would do it with our trustees. When whatever information they wanted, they were able to get. But then they came back and reported to the board their findings, okay? And so you're saying that you have requested information and you have not received it.
Not a volume, not a big amount. There's information that I haven't gotten many times, and I haven't pressed the issue. I probably will in the next couple of weeks about some other information that's going to cause some problems for us. But
okay, so
at the meetings, I have not a problem. When I ask a question to Mary Ellen or anybody and they don't answer, I have a problem when people purposely don't want to answer it.
But maybe, and I'm not. Here's what I'm saying: when you make a statement, okay, I don't. And Jim would have said the same thing. You just said something. Well, maybe it's going to cause some problems. Okay. Well, if you have a question, or if you have a concern, okay, the public looks on what council does. We are setting an image in this area. When Frank DeAndrea sat here and he talked about when he spoke to kids up in one of the schools, the kids said, "We're Hazleton proud." Now, I don't think anyone is going to be upset with any debate, but I think the screaming and the yelling and the agendas that people are going to if I'm going to a council meeting every time, maybe I'm interested, and if I have something to offer, I should offer.
Who said they're screaming and yelling? Get the audio. Put the audio. I wish the audio.
Well,
was
I
on
think
the thing.
I think the last.
We'll see who screams and yells.
I heard it.
And I think you'll be surprised.
No, when I saw our news, we had. Covering the council, I heard people, yelling from the audience, etc. That's what I heard. Unless it was before the meeting or after the meeting, that's what I heard.
Well,
but the
that
point
was
is,
before the meeting. There was one meeting that was before the meeting, but
that was the police. That's unfortunate. We should be out there setting the example.
But you see, sometimes, Jack, you have, first of all, you're a leader.
Well,
and I think you've been there for 10 years, and people look up to you.
I was especially upset with this ordinance stopping us from asking questions and the public from asking questions. Now it's been a completely turnaround.
Well, that's
They've
what
turned
it's
it around,
about.
which is great. I'm all for that, but it should have never been there in the first place.
But there was a reason, I think, that they said. I mean, I'm only going...
There's a reason that somebody who comes to council cannot ask a question. You're saying that's a reason.
No,
You're saying I, as a councilman, can ask Joe, Mary Ellen, at the end of the meeting, a question.
You should
That's
be
what
able
that
to.
ordinance, the
Well,
old ordinance
did
had.
that ordinance
I
say
couldn't
that?
ask a question. The old ordinance.
The
The
old
original ordinance was, again,
Well, that's what I think you were upset about. Because I agree with him. I don't think that... I think any council...
And we amended it. We would change it.
This is
That's
the
where
old
open
ordinance.
debate.
This is the old ordinance.
Well, he's going backwards.
Read the council part.
Yeah.
Yes.
Read the second underlined part.
Council member may not question or request information from any council members, administration, city solicitor, or any officials or employees
is that
of
a
the
gag
city.
order?
Okay.
What is that?
What was
That was meant because of
is
the
it?
behavior that Jack has shown the last time, calling people up and embarrassing them in the front of this, in front of the podium, and it was out of control. It was. I had to gag him. He's calling John Keegan out of the audience, and this is not. We should be setting an example. We have junior council members, which I put on this year. Local high school kids should not be exposed to that. That was uncontrolled behavior, and I know Jack doesn't do that. I know that since January. You can look at the volume of requests have been enormous. The questioning, and it's just been escalating, almost like it's Jack's personal agenda, that he has something axe to grind, but we have nothing to do with it.
Well, my requests are for the budget and other information. Our budget, Mary Ellen's admitted that she hasn't put $500,000 in our budget because she netted it out with income that's in. You
auditor
cannot
said
do
there's
that.
nothing
The
wrong
auditor
with it.
said that was wrong. The auditor said that was totally wrong. You're wrong on that, Jim.
It was
You're
about
totally
the
wrong.
process. It wasn't about the
that
income
was
and
totally wrong.
the amount of money coming
He
in
said
and going
that
out
wasn't
was
the way
one
to
at
do
a
a
time.
budget.
No,
He
that
said
was-
that. He said that was totally wrong, and you cannot do that.
The auditors didn't say there's a
The
problem.
auditor
with it.
said that was a problem.
It's just the formatting.
So you're saying one thing, and here again, this is what I think.
Hey, we can disagree with. It's fine.
So, but again, could these?
Would you not want $500,000 in your budget?
Well, yes. I mean,
of income and
but
expenses
here
that
again,
you don't know where it came from.
What you're saying to me is what you're saying to the viewers. You're presenting that, and it
Yes.
says, well, "Where's the $500,000?" Now, I'm asking Jim. Okay, where is the $500,000?
Well, that's for Mary Ellen to make that.
Mary Ellen netted it
again.
out. She netted it out, and the auditor said you cannot do that.
Okay.
You cannot net out
Now he's saying
income and expenses.
What you're saying is the auditor.
He's saying it's a procedural thing, and that's fine. But what we're saying is there's no difference. It's not like the money's gone. It's gone. It's not it's there, but it's not being shown. But I want to know what Jack's doing with the 1,000 pages. He's not come forward with all these budgets and give us some idea. There's not one time.
I'm
I'll
going
give
to
you a
present
chance.
There's not one time that he has brought something forward that would be helpful. Or Jeannie. Jeannie's saying we're restricting. There's been not one time we restricted anybody from anything. Requests, questions. I have to gavel. I shouldn't be doing that. We should be setting the example for those in the audience as well as the citizens that elected us. Neglecting our duties as what we're
Our budget
doing.
needs to align with our audit. They don't align like other budgets and other
Is there
cities.
a
That's
way-
not going to save
There's
us
a
any
problem
money.
with that. Our budget
There's not gonna
does
save us
not
any
align
money.
with our and in the last few years there have been differences of more than $500,000
Well, we
in
got
our
to find
budget.
ways to save money. We got to say, well, how can we reduce healthcare costs for the city?
They
How
should
can
have
we
gone
do that?
out for
Jack.
that health care. They should have
And they
gone
are
out.
doing that right
They
now.
shouldn't have gone out when they first heard that it was increased. They should have gotten prices. They did not do that. They waited 10
And
months
they are doing it right now.
to tell us, and then it was too late.
Well, they're doing it right now, and again, we're trying to find ways to solve the problem. You've not been at one budget meeting. I don't know in all of the years you've been here. We've been asked to go in. I've been in there more than once
Budget
to try
meetings.
to find.
When was our
We
budget
had
meeting?
budget. All of us have been in here. This council
When?
is past council in the Mary Ellen's office anytime you wanted. You've never gone to one.
She's never told me that there was a
come on,
budget meeting.
Jack, you
Never.
can't say
I've
that.
never heard
Okay,
a budget
folks,
meeting.
See, what I'm trying to say is that if
I'm
if
trying to
there-
solve problems. I'm not trying to create problems.
Yeah, if there is a concern that you would have, or any council,
We're going to be short $600,000 next year. No one is saying anything. I'm at.
Isn't that our responsibility too? I mean, we're part of
It's
this
everyone's
process.
responsibility, but the administration should be coming up with solutions to those problems.
So should we.
They get paid the money.
Yeah,
they
but-
get
but
paid
we're
the
on
money.
council.
We're part-time.
Yeah, but that's not the way it should work, Jack. We're part of the council.
Well,
we are here. We're the legislative branch. We're the ones who say what
I
should be
questioned
done.
the
With
bill.
your
Did you ever
background-
question the bill? I questioned a $2,000
That's fine.
bill,
Perfect.
an engineering bill. I want to know what they did for $2,000 to the security
But your
savings
request
building.
have cost
We don't even own the
$1,000
buildings.
of Mary Ellen's time.
We don't even own the building. We don't own that building.
Okay, well, here again, I think discussions like this, if you're in a room or if you're discussing it without staying within the rules, you should be able to discuss these things get resolutions, and if your input, as the experience that you have, and the input of City Council, like we had, we would discuss these things. We knew that such and such wanted these particular things, and they had the opportunity to do it at their time, other than taking a secretary's time in the college to do. But there was never any, it was always open, and this is what I'm saying, that I think the information you want is open. Folks, I'm talking to Jack Mundie and Jim Perry, City Council, as you can see. A lot of concerns, a lot of questions. I think if we're constructive, a lot of good could come again. Nothing like a good debate, and that's what it is. I got to tell you, there's nothing personal here, folks, at all. But we're discussing some things that are of interest for the city of Hazleton. Remember, as the city of Hazleton goes, that's how the community goes. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us, folks. I'm Sam Lesante, Jim Perry, and Jack Mundie here, folks, talking about City Council. All right, let me ask you this, Jack. I know you for a long time. You're no dummy by no means. You're very intelligent. You bring a lot. No, seriously, you bring a lot to the table. Jack, what would you want from council? How do you want things to run?
I don't want the rules changed at all. They should stay the same. It should be open. If anything, we should open government more and make it more transparent. The Luzerne County Council now are putting contracts and payments on their website. They're putting their minutes, both written and oral, on the website. We could do that. It costs nothing. I talked to the person for Precision Design. No problem with that. Government should be open. It should be open to everyone. You could ask any questions at any time. At meetings, yes, they could come in during the day and ask questions, but a lot of people work during the day, so they have to come after that and after their work day. And I don't see it's a problem to ask people at a meeting a question. I understand when I ask Mary Ellen a question about the budget, she might not have the answer, and I say, well, you can get that to me. And I understand that. I've never berated her or said it's wrong or said, why don't you know that question? I said, that's fine. I've never had a problem with people not answering questions at the meeting.
If you have some concerns, would you be able to, if you have some questions or concerns?
Well, I have concerns about a lot of things. Now Jim will have a problem with this, but Sam... there was an email that went from Sam Galsky to somebody to me, and it was you, Karen, and Keith Bast that were copied on it. Changes to one of the ordinance. I did not get any changes. I didn't get them until Lisa sent them to me. So you sent them to Karen and Bast, and I didn't get the changes on the new things. But that's okay. I understand how it works. But you're saying about minority and majority? I have an email with those two names on it, not mine or Jeannie's, about making changes to the ordinance. We should have all had input into this rules of council. I did not. The first time I saw it was at a council meeting.
Jim?
Well, again, we sent these out ahead of time. You have ample opportunity like everybody else does. This, again, like I said, this was not anybody else's. I set it out there, and we can make amendments. We have 3 days or 3 times for an ordinance to pass, so there's plenty of time to make the changes.
This is a resolution. It only passes once.
Well, right, this one, but all the other ones.
If you're saying to me, that if, as a citizen, that I have an opportunity of coming to the council and at the end of the meeting ask any question I want?
Absolutely. We've not, again, and that's why the meetings are very long. I mean, we've not.
But there is a rule for 3 minutes, and you haven't been living by it.
I haven't followed that, and it's up to it says the presiding officer.
And this was before that.
Before Jack. That was when Jack and I mean that was back in the.
I don't think too many people have gone over 3 minutes.
But anyway,
no,
the point
but
is.
But again, in the process, again, these are just rules. It's a rule. It's a guideline. It's something we should be setting examples for. We shouldn't have to be telling people, I mean, how to behave or again how this should work. But again, to say we're being restrictive is totally false. I think, again, the citizens group was misguided. They were misinformed. They only heard one side of the story. We're not here to gag anybody or gag anybody. As a matter of fact, again, I can tell you the length of the meetings have been longer than any time prior to me being here. They've never been 3-hour meetings.
They've been longer than that. Believe me. You're only on 2 years. I've been on 10. We've had meetings that
these have not. But again, we're
longer.
trying to be open. That's the try, and I'm trying to set an example as controlling the meetings. So we're here as an informative process. There's nothing that's been gathered that we found as revolutionary or changing anything. Again, what Mary Ellen does with the budget, we want to find ways to limit that budget. We want to find ways to enforce our codes. Using the cameras, fight ways of crime. We want to, like I said, reduce and find ways to bring revenue in. That's what we should be doing. We should be working all together for the helping the city.
In closing, let me just say that I think if you all work for the betterment, other than, if you have concerns, I didn't like anyone in the minority coming in, or a person who thought they were in a minority, and then just to cause a problem, okay? And then when you cause problems, then you lose the trend of your direction.
Well,
and I think
was told to me by this ordinance. Somebody said I was politically grandstanding. Well, political grandstanding is when you talk about something and you make a mountain out of a molehill. This ordinance was stupid. It was written. It was totally wrong. It should not have been written.
It's been changed now, right?
Yeah, I know it's been
John
changed.
Keegan's name up 6 times at a council meeting.
Well,
That's totally out of line. There's no reason for it. He has nothing to do with us.
These rules of council were totally wrong. They were written without input from all of council.
Well, I'm hoping that these discussions that you're having, which are good heated discussions, but the point is something good comes out for the citizens instead of them saying, oh, they're fighting again. And for those people who go to these meetings, and if they're bringing something of worthwhile, which good. But if they're going to the meetings just to disrupt, because
I think most people come to the meetings.
And I think they should. I
don't think anyone comes to the meetings has been disruptive.
There's been very few of them new people. It's been the same people.
And that's fine. I think it should be open. I think this is, but I don't think anyone should gag anybody. I think everything should be transparent. And if I have a question about something, particularly from a city councilman, I have every right to know what's going on. Thanks for coming on the show. As I said, the show should be an hour. Jim, I appreciate it. Jack, I appreciate coming on the show. Folks, a lot to be said, a lot to be learned, but remember we have to deal with facts. Hopefully we can do this in a civil way without showing the public that we're always upset about things and screaming and yelling, because people do come into this area and they look at what the city is all about. We want to project something that we are business-oriented and we get things accomplished, and we're working for progress for you. Once again, I want to thank Jack Mundie and Jim Perry for coming on the show. 24/7 SSPTV.com. We'll see you next time.